guys, today we're going to review the movie Isang Himala, directed by Pepe Jocno and starring Isel Santos. Without a doubt, Himala by Bernal with Nora Honor is one of the greatest Filipino films ever made. That is why any remake would forever be in its shadow, so providing the material a fresh twist would be the right way to go, so the remake would be able to stand on its own merits. Turning Himala into a musical is of course one way of doing it, a gamble of course, but with the right hands it could really pay off. Isang Himala, directed by Pepe Jocno with pen coming from Ricky Lee, resurrects Himala into a musical, and one thing that will immediately strike the viewer is the look of the film, with how the cinematography and production design were manipulated to come out with a very striking and distinct look. The lighting and color grading obviously had theater influences which enhanced how Jocno composed his shots, creating a heightened reality for the sets. I like how the contrast of light and shadow often played a major role in creating the oppressive atmosphere that affected the characters in the story. While the barrio of Kupang is obviously poverty-stricken, it was beautiful to look at. The corrugated sheets and lifeless walls definitely added a texture of despair and desperation to the location. The setting was definitely my favorite element of the movie. Kupang seemed to be a live organism with the cramped houses forming its deformed and warped, heaving body of despondency. The actors were all excellent, consisting primarily of theater veterans and professional singers and not major movie stars. The cast was able to become the characters smoothly without the distraction of stardom and glamour getting in the way. These were ordinary looking people and became more relatable and more real. Isel Santos as Elsa is impeccable in the lead role. She is able to channel the tortured soul of Elsa as she grapples with the burden and responsibility of being the hope for so many. Her voice, of course, can only be described as miraculous as she caresses each musical note the way her hands soothe the infirm. Between Escalante, who is Elsa's adoptive mother, is of course a pillar of musical and acting stability in the goings-on of the movie. But the one who stole the movie is Kaki Teodoro, who played the childhood friend of Elsa, who became the town whore and beer house owner. She grabs each scene by the throat and establishes her presence like a true diva. Every scene she is in crackles with energy, her voice like a siren out to drown the crew of Odysseus. So, did Isang Himala succeed as a movie? Unfortunately, it wasn't as successful as I wanted it to be. One major mistake is that it was almost a direct-to-screen adaptation of the play. The makers forgot that some theater conventions do not necessarily translate well on screen. You don't have a souvenir program adding explanatory notes to some of the elements on screen. Unlike in live theater where characterization can help the audience have a clearer idea of what is going on. What we get is thus half-baked characterizations for a lot of the characters and a narrative that is very choppy instead of being fluid. The audience needs to have watched the original movie or the play to fully appreciate and understand everything. And that subtracts from Isang Himala since it isn't as independent as an artistic work as it should be. And tragically, the movie committed the worst sin of all as a musical: bad songs. A great musical always stays with you. You go home humming or trying to sing some of the songs. We don't get that here. The songs are forgettable and poorly composed. It felt like the creator simply gave lines of dialogue to the performers, and instead of telling the actors to deliver the dialogue normally, they asked them to sing. The songs did not sound like full-blown songs, but simple dialogue that was sang. The songs were poorly structured, making them lack staying power. I only remember some of them for what they talked about, but no melody stayed with me. I don't know if it were just my ears, but I couldn't identify any leitmotif in the music. That would have been valuable in providing structure and coherence to the music. Isang Himala is a movie that I wanted to succeed. It was the movie that has always been my choice to be the first movie that I will watch in the festival. Too bad it fell short of expectations. As a movie, it's above average and deserves support, but as a musical, it is droning and heartbreakingly out of tune. So that's the review for Isang Himala, directed by Pepe Jocno and starring Isel Santos. Now if you like this kind of content, please subscribe to this channel, share this video, and comment. This has been Kulas for Tambay Reviews. Thank you for watching. Keep on playing.